All right, well, good morning, seventh graders. We are continuing here right along here in chapter 4. And we've been working on solving equations, and today our focus is going to be on solving two-step equations. Now, we're going to take lesson 4.3 and break it up into a couple of different lessons, but that's not going to be a problem. You're smart people. Solve the equation, check your solution. So here we have negative 3x plus 5 equals 2. Now that first step is still all about isolate the variable. That's very important. Isolate the variable. So what I'm doing here is I want to get negative 3x by itself. I'm going to, and when you set these up on your paper, you're going to write the original equation. Then you're going to isolate the variable, and we consider the variable to be negative 3x, which means I have to get rid of this plus 5. Now, since this is a plus 5, my goal is to make it nothing, which 5 minus 5 is what equals 0. But if I subtract 5 from this side, then I also need to subtract 5 from this side. Now, you can use your calculator on these, because once again, we don't want you to make computation errors. We want the errors to be because you're not understanding how to work the equation. But if I do 2 minus 5, I plug that into my calculator, I find that it equals negative 3, which leaves me with negative 3x, which is what I was left with on this side of the equation, equals negative 3, because 2 minus 5 was negative 3. Now I just solve for x. Now it looks like a multiplication equation that I know how to solve. To isolate x, I'm going to divide everything by negative 3. When I divide this by negative 3, it leaves me with x. Negative 3 divided by negative 3, x equals 1. All right, we're going to look at 3 more because we want to make sure we're comfortable before we move on. 2x plus 12 equals 4. Well, I have 2x. This is what I want to get by itself. I have a plus 12. So I'm actually going to be subtracting 12 from both sides to get 0, which means then that I come to this side of the equation. When I refer to sides of the equation, what's on this, the left of the equal side is one side. What's on the right of the equal sign, that's the other side. So I subtract 12 here, that gives me 0. I'm going to subtract 12 from the 4. 4 minus 12, well, that's going to equal negative 8. Okay, and you can plug that into your calculator. That leaves me with 2x equals negative 8. Well, if 2x equals negative 8, to get x by itself, I'm going to divide everything by 2, okay? Which essentially then means I'm doing negative 8 divided by 2. Well, negative 8 divided by 2 equals negative 4. X equals negative 4. All right, let's move right along. Got 2 more that we're going to look at. This next one, negative 5c plus 9 equals negative 16. Negative 5c plus 9 equals negative 16. Well, once again, I want to get the negative 5c by itself. And I'm going to do that, since this is a plus 9, by subtracting 9, and that's going to give me 0. Then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to have negative 16 minus 9, because whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. Negative 16 minus 9, once again, you can punch that into your calculator, but for the sake of time on this video, I'm not showing that. Negative 16 minus 9 is going to be a negative 25. That leaves me with negative 5c on this side, okay, because I made that 0, equals a negative 25. Which means to isolate c, or to get c by itself, I have to divide everything by negative 5. Which essentially means I'm doing negative 25 divided by negative 5, which is going to be a positive 5, because as we know, a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. All right, moving right along. Number 4, this will be our last one for today. 9 equals 3x minus 12. Don't be confused when they switch what sides things are on. That doesn't matter, okay? It's still going to be done the same way, as you'll see. The one that's different about this one is this is a 3x minus 12. Now remember what we've talked about. Not only, we need to understand now as 7th graders that not only is this a subtraction problem, it's also showing that this is a negative 12. Just like in this example, this is not only an addition sign, it's also showing that this is a positive 9. So I have 9 equals 3x minus 12. Okay, 9 equals 3x minus 12. So I have a negative 12, so I have to add 12 to both sides. Okay, I have to add 12 to both sides. That's going to give me 0. So if I add 12 to this side, I have to add 12 to this side. I'm going to do 9 plus 12. 9 plus 12 is 21. Okay, and 9 plus 12 is 21. That leaves me with 21 equals 3x. Well, if 21 equals 3x, to isolate everything by x, to isolate x, I've got to divide everything by 3 because that's the number that's there. Well, 21 divided by 3 is 7. That tells me that 7 is what x equals. All right, we'll talk to you later, 7th graders. Bye.